how you pay it back.
Find out how reverse mortgages really work with AAG's free no-obligation reverse mortgage guide. Eliminate monthly mortgage payments, pay bills, medical costs, and more. Call now and get your free info kit. Call 1-800-231-7626.
Other mortgages are paid each month, but with a reverse mortgage, you can pay whatever you can when it works for you. Or you can wait and pay it off in one lump sum when you leave your home.
Discover the option that's best for you. Call today and find out more in AAG's free no-obligation reverse mortgage loan guide. Access tax-free cash and stay in the home you love.
You've probably been investing in your home for years, making monthly mortgage payments, doing the right thing. And it's become your family's heart and soul. Well, that investment can give you tax-free cash just when you need it.
Learn how homeowners are strategically using a reverse mortgage loan to cover expenses, pay for health care, protect investments, and so much more.
Look, reverse mortgages aren't for everyone, but I think I've been around long enough to know what's what. I'm proud to be a part of AAG. I trust them. I think you can too.
Trust AAG for the best reverse mortgage solutions. Call 1-800-231-7626 so you can
retire better.
Do you have concerns about mild memory loss related to aging? Prevagen is the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand. You can find it in the vitamin aisle in stores everywhere. Prevagen, healthier brain, better life.
Time-lapse video, take a look at this. It's a view of something that can be all too common this time of year. Yes, those streetlights. No, I'm actually pointing out the foggy, little bright, hazy view of those streetlights. We had some fog develop as far as your morning commute goes in Pittsburgh. That's what you saw. And it is the season to see these foggy situations. Granted, in a lot of spots where there wasn't that much vegetation and more concrete, you didn't see that much, but you notice like it looks like we went over a bridge. You see the fog really filled in right there.
It's like you're driving through a steam room in a way.
It is, yes. It's just like a steam room. Nice little sauna view.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, we do have fog is not one of the big stories that we're talking about today. Granted, it is going to impact many of your morning commutes, even in some valley locations tomorrow. But we still have this cold front that's going to be draped across the East Coast. It's going to interact with this low pressure system right here as it heads north. With that said, we do have that shot for strong winds, some choppy waves, as well as thunderstorms hugging the coastline as we get through the end of this week. And speaking of thunderstorms and storms in general, that low pressure system working its way through the Rockies and the plains, bringing in quite a bit of snow behind that front, as well as severe storms. We have torcons in effect of 3 in effect in this red area right here come Thursday. So we'll have more on that in just a bit, but let's start off with that coastal storm that's working its way, and it's going to interact with that cold front, Chris.
Things are about to get crazy here in the weather. Relatively quiet start to the week, but by the end of the week, boy, we're gonna have a scene going on in a few different places here. Early in the week, there's a couple of disturbances, so some cloudy and showery weather across parts of Florida, the Bahamas, and offshore. Now, there's a chance this is going to develop into something. National Hurricane Center watching these areas. Regardless of whether or not this gets a name from the National Hurricane Center, it is likely to cause some issues offshore. It is likely to develop into something. And the European model and the American model both showing a closed area of low pressure by tomorrow evening. And this is going to hang out tomorrow. Here's now Thursday at 8 o'clock. And then Friday at 8 o'clock, it's still there, weakening a little bit, maybe getting a little bit bigger, but weaker as some of the strongest winds now moving into Maine. This is one take on this system, one computer model, and should be out of here by Sunday. So we're talking from Thursday through at least the first part of the weekend. I'm sorry, Wednesday through at least the first part of the weekend with this. So a few days, and the amount of rain that is possible here, we can see it looks at 5 to 8 inches. This is our forecast. Now, the European model showing more rain than that. Bottom line is it's going to be a nasty few days with some rain and some wind to parts of New England and much of the eastern seaboard here. In fact, the rough winds or the rough water that's kicked up by the winds is going to be making its way into the Outer Banks as well. And you can see with some of these winds in Virginia Beach up to around 30 miles an hour, and Wednesday into Late Wednesday into Thursday, things are really going to be cranking here. Would not rule out 50-mile-an-hour winds, Liana, even the Cape and the islands there in Massachusetts.
All right, Chris. Well, time now for a check on your weather headlines. Strong storms sent this tree crashing through a home in Auburn, Massachusetts. 81-year-old Bill Crosby and his wife were home at the time. Fortunately, they weren't hurt, and their house of 50 years, however, sustained major damage. And the incident in Massachusetts reminds you that trees don't just fall during storms. But before a tree tumbles, there are often warning signs. Meteorologist Alex Wallace shows us 5 signs you don't want to ignore.
Heavy snow, strong winds, ice accumulation. Weather can really test the strength of the strongest trees. Before they become a tremendous problem, here are 5 signs your trees are in trouble. Number 1, holes in the tree trunk. Trees often prune themselves by dropping a branch, leaving potentially weak cavities. That can also lead to decay. Number 2, dead branches. If you've noticed branches with dead leaves, or even ones that have previously fallen, that could be a sign that your tree is no longer healthy and strong. Number 3, missing bark or deep cracks. Bald spots where bark once covered a tree, or even deep cracks along the bark, can all be terrible signs for timber. Number 4, trunk leaning. While leaning can be an excellent tourist stop in Pisa, the trip a leaning trunk could take is less than ideal. Experts say that when you see a tree leaning more than 15 degrees after a wind or weather event, it should be removed. A naturally tilted tree poses less of a danger. Number 5, rotten roots. While they can be hard to spot, there are some signs that a tree is experiencing root rot. Mushrooms growing along the base or fungi growing on the trunk could indicate trouble below the surface. When it comes to your property, it really pays to get to the root of the problem. If you spot some of these problems around your home or business, call an expert for an evaluation. It could save your car, home, or even your life.
DiGiorno pizza bakes fresh in your own oven and travels straight to your table.
Unlike delivery that goes from oven to box to bag to car to traffic to wrong houses.
Nobody delivers a piping hot and crispy crust like a DiGiorno pizza.
It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Hi, my name is Sam Davis, and I'm going to tell you about exciting plans available to anyone with Medicare. Many plans provide broad coverage and still may save you money on monthly premiums and prescription drugs. With Original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits, but you have to meet a deductible for each, and then you're still responsible for 20% of the cost. Next, let's look at a Medicare supplement plan. As you can see, they cover the same things as Original Medicare, and they also cover your Medicare deductibles and coinsurance, but they often have higher monthly premiums and no prescription drug coverage. Now, let's take a look at Humana's Medicare Advantage plans. With a Humana Medicare plan, hospital stays, doctor office visits, and Medicare deductibles are covered. And of course, most Humana Medicare Advantage plans include prescription drug coverage. In fact, in 2018, Humana Medicare Advantage prescription drug plan members saved an estimated $7,400 on average on their prescription costs. Most Humana Medicare Advantage plans help you stay active and keep fit by including a Silver Sneakers fitness program at no extra cost. And you may be able to save on dental and vision expenses because coverage is now included with most Humana Medicare Advantage plans. You get all this coverage for as low as a $0 monthly plan premium in many areas. And your doctor and hospital may already be a part of Humana's large network. If you want the facts, call right now for the free decision guide from Humana. There is no obligation, so call the number on your screen right now to see if your doctor is in our network, to find out if you could save on your prescriptions, and to get our free decision guide. Licensed Humana sales agents are standing by, so call now.
This is a Morgan & Morgan consumer alert.
If you've ever used a weed killer, you have to hear this message. I'm attorney Matt Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Recently, one of our lawyers was part of a team that helped secure a jury verdict for a couple who contracted cancer after using Roundup. If you're a farmer, casual gardener, or anyone else who has used weed killers, you may not know that studies suggest that glyphosate, the main ingredient in Roundup, may increase the risk of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Monsanto allegedly was aware of the risk posed by Roundup, but failed to disclose them to the public. If you or a loved one were diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and you have used Roundup, you could be owed money for damages. Contact us today for a free case review. You pay nothing unless we recover money for you. Call the number on your screen now. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Call 833-974-1302.
Crews made a stunning discovery on Abaco Island in the Bahamas. A dog trapped amid the rubble Dorian caused more than 3 weeks ago. The dog was rushed to Big Dog Rescue Ranch in Florida to recover, and the founder of the ranch, Lori Simmons, updates us on the dog they're calling Miracle.
It has been amazing. He is making so much progress. He's eating every 2 hours. He actually got up for the first time on his own today and took several steps, which wore him out. So he's now taking another nap. He sleeps a lot. He's very weak. He lost 50% or more of his body weight. He should weigh about 45 pounds. And he came to us weighing 22. And today he weighed in at 46.5 pounds. So we are making slow progress, but he's got a long way to go here. He lost all of his muscle mass and his little body, and it's kind of like laying in a hospital bed for a month. You lose all of your strength and your muscles, and he's going to have physical therapy every day, and we're still feeding him every 2 hours and monitoring his red and white cell count, and his anemia is getting better, and everything about him is getting better. He's brighter. Can you say hello to everybody?
Oh.
There we go.
Hey, Lori, you know, Miracle's one of several dogs that have been rescued after Dorian. Talk about some of the other rescues and what's still ongoing to rescue any other pets.
Well, our ground team, Sean and Tim, are still over there on the ground with the help of the drone and wonderful videographer, Christy. And they're still on the ground, still looking. We were actually able to find one. We have been to Pelican Shores, which was decimated over there in Marsh Harbor 5 times looking for a little Chihuahua named Socks. And they found him today. He wasn't easy to catch. He was very frightened, but Socks will be returning tomorrow afternoon to his owner, who will be meeting her here at Big Dog Ranch tomorrow afternoon.
Just one of the heartwarming stories coming out of the Bahamas. And there are other signs of hope as well. In Siesta Key, Florida, workers at an oyster bar chose a unique way to help victims of Dorian recover. They pulled off dollars that cover the walls of the business, 14,000 of them in all. And they are donating them to Dorian Relief. Chris?
Dorian, though, is just the latest Category 5 hurricane to cause devastation. This week last year, you may remember, Florida's Panhandle braced for another Cat 5, Michael. It wiped away homes in Mexico Beach and ripped into others. The community still trying to recover.
And bigger, more intense and destructive hurricanes seem to be a disturbing trend. Meteorologist Jim Cantore looks at why that might be.
We've seen it. The devastating, destructive, and catastrophic impacts of Category 5 hurricanes.
We have no power, no water. It's bad.
These intense tropical cyclones are relatively rare, but seem to be on the rise. From 1950 through 2019, there have been 28 Cat 5s in the Atlantic Basin, half of them since 2003.
Historically, 80% of damage in the United States has been done by storms of Category 3 and higher.
Dr. Cary Emanuel, a professor at MIT, has spent his career researching hurricanes. He and other scientists are starting to understand the climate change connection to the increase.
There are lots of pieces of evidence in favor of this. First of all, a body of theory going back 32 years suggested that we should see more high category storms. Models, for what they're worth, have also suggested that. And we're beginning to see it in the data.
Hurricane intensity may not be the only trend we're seeing.
You also got to look at how long do they stay at Category 5? Back in the day, we used to say, well, Category 5 hurricanes usually don't stay that strong for more than about a day. And Irma stayed at Category 5 straight through for 3 consecutive days. That is astounding. That statistic worries me. And also, there is research to support that the strongest hurricanes are getting to their peak faster.
Another thing that we're concerned about, but we know less about, is how the diameters of hurricanes might change as a consequence of climate change.
The trend appears to favor larger storms, which can cause a lot of damage as well.
Research has shown that on average, the forward speed of tropical systems near North America has decreased in the neighborhood of 10%. And when you look at the stalling and looping storms like Harvey and Florence and Imelda and even Barry, combined with the fact that while they were weaker systems, tropical storm or even tropical depression or less in the case of Imelda.
This water wasn't here an hour ago.
The slow motion combined with astronomical rain rates of more than half a foot per hour in some cases in Southeast Texas is leading to these record-setting inland flood disasters.
There's a lot more research now than there was 20 or 30 years ago on the connection between hurricanes and climate, and I think we're making good progress, but we have a ways to go.
And we still have just over 20% of the hurricane season left, and here's what we have out there.
And regardless of whether or not there's development, there will be some impacts to the U.S. We'll explain coming up.
Dealing with psoriatic arthritis pain was so frustrating.
My skin, it was embarrassing.
My joints, they hurt.
The pain and swelling.
The tenderness.
The psoriasis.
I had to find something that worked on all of this.
I found Cosentyx. Now, watch me.
Real people with active psoriatic arthritis are getting real relief with Cosentyx. It's a different kind of targeted biologic. Cosentyx treats more than just the joint pain of psoriatic arthritis. It even helps stop further joint damage. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about an infection or symptoms. If your inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen, or if you've had a vaccine or plan to, serious allergic reactions may occur.
I got real relief.
I got clear skin and feel better.
Now, watch me.
Get real relief with Cosentyx.
Do you use catheters? Are you using the catheter that's really best for you?
Oh, yeah. For years, I'd been using one kind of catheter, and I never knew that there were other really great catheters available until Liberator sent me samples to try. If I had not tried the samples from Liberator, I might never have found the perfect catheter for me. Liberator Medical sent me a catheter that was easier for me to use right out of the package. Now that I've found the best catheter for me, it's made my life much easier. My catheters were completely paid for, not a dime out of my pocket.
There are so many innovative catheters. Get the best catheter for you. Call Liberator Medical. Get your free catheter sample pack.
Call 1-800-745-1930. That's 1-800-745-1930.
It's been years since my last eye exam, but this year, my VSP individual vision plan will help me save on exams and glasses. Get an extra $20 to spend on featured frame brands when you enroll today at vspdirect.com.
Hello?
Hello there. Almond Joy is tropicaling.
When you need a taste of vacation, pick up.
Attention! Do you have Medicare? Could you use more benefits, lower out-of-pocket costs, or support paying premiums? The Go Medicare Benefits Help Center is now open to help. Call the Help Center at 800-299-9359 to see if you qualify for the following benefits at no additional cost to you. Dental, including fillings, exams, dentures. Vision, including exams, frames, lenses, and even contacts. Hearing, including hearing aids, batteries. And $0 premium prescription drug plans. You may even qualify to have $135 added back to your Social Security check each month. Call the Go Medicare Benefits Help Center now at 800-299-9359 to see if you qualify. Both a call and benefits review are 100% free with absolutely no obligation to enroll. To see if you qualify to add dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug benefits to your Medicare plan at no additional cost, call 800-299-9359. 800-299-9359.
This is epic. You're watching America's most trusted TV news network.
We've got a severe weather threat. We are live on the ground.
Right now, it's coming down.
The Weather Channel.
Time now to take a look at the active radar here on the Weather Channel and give you an idea of what we're watching right now. We're watching this whole messy area. Eventually going to see something develop off the northeastern seaboard here. But before that happens, we've got some storms to deal with and moving into the Keys. Key West right now watching some just off the west. Looking a little bit closer here. Here's Marathon, Isla Morada, and then all the way down to the lower Keys here in Key West. Some storms rolling through at the moment. The good news is it's not going to last forever, but the bad news is there's some lightning, even associated with some of the lighter rain once the heaviest rain moves out. So it's going to be a while before we're in the clear and out of the threat for lightning there in the Keys. Meanwhile, a little bit of lightning showing up east of Atlanta and some showers moving into parts of South Carolina and into and through parts of the Appalachians from North Carolina into Virginia. And then here in the Northeast, a dry day and a pretty decent day, Liana, before things really go downhill in these areas.
Yeah, we're talking about some rough times ahead for sure. And it's already been a rough year for farmers in the plains. Record-shattering flooding last spring, and now some brace for a foot or more of snow. Earlier today, Jim Cantori and Stephanie Abrams talked with one farmer about the way weather has affected his operation this year.
Bill Chase is a farmer in Huron, South Dakota, and joins us on the phone this morning. Good morning, Bill. Thanks for talking to us. Let's get an idea of this winter storm and certainly how it stacks up to the year that you've had.
Well, good morning, and thanks for the opportunity. And probably the thing we need the least right now is a winter storm, with the issues that we've been facing all summer with the extremely wet ground that we're dealing with. We can't hardly drive on any of this ground. There's so much moisture. The ground is wet. The cattle are out in the pastures yet, and we really can't bring them in around the farmsteads because of the wet conditions around the farmsteads, mud, and still from last spring. We had issues with blizzards last spring, and it just hasn't let up all summer. It just rains and rains and rains.
So can you give us an update on your crops? What percentage have you been able to plant?
We planted about 20% of our tillable farm ground, and then it got wetter after that, so quite a bit of that did drown back out that we were able to plant. The soybeans have been waterlogged last summer. They don't look very good. The corn, I think we'll have some corn. It's just a matter of being able to get in there and harvest it because of the mud.
Well, let's talk about the livestock a little bit. We got this winter storm coming up with a lot of snow, wind, and cold. What would you typically do if you could get them in? Would you bring them in, or are they kind of fend for themselves?
Well, at this early stage, no, we wouldn't probably bring them in. We might take some cover to them in the pastures where they're at. The cattle are pretty good at finding cover where they can, back behind a dugout bank or a tree strip or something. They'll find a break to get into. But at this time of year, that rains on them, gets them wet first, and then their hair is wet, and then when it starts snowing and blowing, it's extremely difficult for them to deal with that. So we're hoping that it doesn't get as bad as what they're saying it might.
Yeah, it's definitely bad news for farmers and even livestock producers all across the northern plains. In fact, corn is only halfway mature across parts of North Dakota, and we're going to be dealing with some major issues, several feet of snow. I'll cover that in just a second. Winter storm watches, advisories, and warnings galore. First up will be that Warrens area. A good chunk of I-90, I-94 definitely embedded in here. Transportation delays will be felt. Thanks to all this cold air filtering in, we also have some moisture that's going to wrap in around that low pressure system, feeding into all that cold air, providing more snowfall across parts of the Dakotas as well as we get into late this week. So with that said, I mentioned feet of snow. Yeah, take a look at this. I mean, this is the European model. From now into Saturday, this is how much snow we're expecting. Your eye gravitates to this pink bubble right there over North Dakota. Almost 2 feet, if not 2 to 3 feet of snow expected right there. Now, that's just one model run. That's one model. The GFS model, the unfortunate thing is that they are in good agreement. Notice the same kind of bullseye indicating feet of snow, 2 to 3 feet possible over these areas. And the wind is definitely going to be causing some concerns as well, especially for our agricultural community. Plants can easily be toppled over, and that blowing snow can easily reduce visibility, Chris. So people traveling on I-90, I-94, we're going to be seeing some major issues, and the potential for accidents always a big concern in these kind of systems.
Yeah, so from wintry weather to the severe side of things, and the severe side includes here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, a live look at Dallas with some blue sky, and by Thursday, seeing red on the map for you, and the chance there will be some severe weather, and this includes areas all the way up to Iowa, and this includes a tornado threat, a 3 out of 10 on the Torcon for southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri, east and central Oklahoma, and north Texas.
Starting tonight, let the reunions begin on ABC's Cast from the Past Week. On the Connors, Dan Aykroyd stops by.
Hey, bingo!
Blackish hosts a girlfriends get-together.
That is so cool!
The Goldbergs has something big to cheers about.
Afternoon, everybody.
And American Housewife welcomes the gang from the Drew Carey Show.
You're going down, lunch lady.
Bring it, nerd.
ABC's Cast from the Past Week kicks off tonight on ABC.
While using smartphones and tablets is second nature to us, the same may not be true for your mom or dad, which means they can find themselves isolated from you and the family.
Here you go, ma'am.
GrandPad, powered by Consumer Cellular, gives you the opportunity to change that.
Hi, Mom. You got it.
Once you've introduced your mom or dad to GrandPad, they'll be able to stay in touch just like you do, sharing photos, emails, and making video calls. They can check the weather, read the news, stream music, play games, and more. With GrandPad, it's easy, even if they've had no experience with new technologies. GrandPad arrives already set up and ready to go, and it's incredibly simple to operate and charge. As soon as GrandPad is turned on, the whole family will be able to connect via the website or downloadable smartphone app. At the touch of a button,
Hi, Mary. How can I help?
GrandPad comes with award-winning customer support from Consumer Cellular, who has been an approved AARP provider for over 10 years, so members get exclusive discounts. GrandPad is safe and secure, connecting the family on a closed private network so you don't have to worry about scams or data breaches. GrandPad comes with all these accessories, and the set monthly fee provides unlimited service, so your mom or dad can use the GrandPad as much as they like. Call or go online to order today and get our 30-day risk-free guarantee. If they're not completely happy, simply return it and pay nothing. They'll be delighted with all the ways GrandPad keeps them entertained and included. You'll rest easy, knowing your mom or dad is finally connected to the comforts of family and friends.
So, Mom, we have some big news.
You're going to be a great grandma! Introduce them to GrandPad, a gift to keep them connected. Order for your mom or dad today and get free shipping. Call 1-877-605-4624. Go online at getgrandpad.com or find GrandPad at Target.
Here's important information for anyone with an annuity or structured settlement. It's your right to sell all or part of your annuity payments for the cash you need now. Whether you need to make an important purchase, pay off debt, or build a business, call the pros at Peachtree today. We can help you get the cash you need. We're professionals at buying structured settlements.
Hi, I'm Maggie from Peachtree. We've been helping people for over 20 years. We can help you turn your settlement or annuity payments into the cash you need for a new car, housing, or to manage debt. Recently, I helped a customer get money for fertility treatments to start a family. It's your money, and you have the right to use it now.
Get your money faster by calling Peachtree now at 855-984-3732. Call today for a free quote. You may even qualify for a cash advance. That's 855-984-3732 or visit peachtreefinancial.com.
New video here into the Weather Channel today showing some of the conditions across Guam from a major and powerful typhoon as it was slamming the U.S. territory with intense wind and rain. Some damage was reported across the island. The storm now moving toward Japan.
We're also watching tropical downpours in Florida. This right here, Jacksonville, which saw some pretty intense rain yesterday, leading to flooding across the First Coast region. Streets covered in water, creating mini lakes. This scene, unfortunately, could repeat itself over the next few days. Now, besides those tropical downpours in Florida, we're also watching for a big coastal storm expected to develop along the East Coast, making itself felt from the coast of North Carolina to New England.
And one of the cities we're keeping an eye on is Atlantic City. Not a good week to be on the boardwalk or on a boat out to sea. Beginning tomorrow, looking for the winds and the rain to all start picking up. It's going to be downright nasty over the next few days for the beaches here in New Jersey, all the way up into New York, in New England. And speaking of beaches, let's head south, where typically you can find some much warmer weather, and that is the case here in South Florida, 81 degrees. However, we're dealing with some clouds and some rain that's likely going to continue through at least tomorrow. And Liana's tracking that right now.
Yeah, at least for the most part, it looks kind of dry across Miami at the moment, but we do have the potential for more thunderstorms developing through the rest of this evening and then once again tomorrow. So take a look at what we're talking about. The potential for flash flooding is there, especially across locations south of Alligator Alley, possible in the green. Miami, you are in that as well. So as we continue into tomorrow, we're looking at a very juicy atmosphere for these storms to tap into, squeezing out all that moisture down to the ground in the form of rain, and it's already happening. We've been tracking these storms working their way through the Keys at the moment. Plenty of lightning to be had. Special marine warnings in place across the outer coast right there outside of Miami. So just make sure that mariners, you need to be making sure that you're avoiding these storms. Winds associated with it, and of course, plenty of lightning to be had. In fact, we do have a flood advisory now in effect for parts of Broward County, including the cities of Coconut Creek, Deerfield Beach, and Pompano Beach. Plenty of lightning, and notice it's not really moving all that much, so that's why we're kind of seeing this training effect. That's why we have that potential for flooding. As we zoom up north, Daytona Beach, you're finally seeing the rain let up just a bit, but we still have some vicinity showers. Orlando, also seeing these clusters of storms starting to produce some lightning, so the amusement parks are being impacted by that stormy threat as well. And as we look forward through the next several hours, we will continue to track these cells. A lot of them will be offshore and it will gradually taper off. We can't rule out the chance for a funnel cloud or two until then, but then it does fire up after this break into the overnight hours. As we get into 7, 8, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, once again, we're looking at this cluster of storms across South Florida developing once again. So Tampa, stormy time expected through the rest of this week pretty much. You're looking live at Lauderdale by the Sea, so that kind of view, get comfortable with it. The wind, the storms, plenty of lightning expected through Thursday afternoon. Another spot, Orlando, we're going to be seeing those storms develop as well as we get into Wednesday through Thursday. But we still have a little over 20% left of hurricane season left, and we still have some activity out there. Granted, it's not a hurricane by any means, but we still have something to talk about.
Yeah, it's something that the National Hurricane Center is giving a medium chance of development here in the coming days. An area of disturbed weather with 40-mile-per-hour winds here, roughly, with movement to the northeast at 18 miles an hour. And this eventually could be what develops off of the northeast coast, the mid-Atlantic and northeast coast. And if it's going to develop in the next few days. This is where it's likely to develop. And then this right here. So it's either be the one to the south or the one to the north that eventually will turn into an area of low pressure. And you can kind of see that this one up here to the north is probably more likely, but the way things are working out, it could get a little muddled in exactly which one is what along this front. That we see a more obvious area of low pressure develop. So we have a couple areas of disturbed weather, and which one may just be academic, because we are thinking there is going to be some development here of a coastal storm of some form or variety, Liana, that eventually will bring some pretty nasty weather offshore. And how offshore it stays will mean everything to the kind of weather you get either in the mid-Atlantic and or into New England.
I mean, any kind of wiggles to the left or to the west could bring in more rain and wind to more interior locations. So that's what we want to talk about. From the Carolinas to the mid-Atlantic and into New England, that storm that's brewing up in the Atlantic could bring rain up and down the coast, more cloudy skies to be had in parts of Virginia and even in Boston. So you can expect this kind of view to be sticking with us, in fact, worsen as we get over to the next several days. High pressure to the north, essentially slowing things down for this low pressure system as it trekked across the region, across the Atlantic. Now, it's also going to be interacting with these pressure gradients, bringing in that heightened chance of strong damaging winds. The tighter packed those white lines are, the stronger the winds. And we are going to be seeing some gusty winds. Granted, much of them will be way offshore, closer to that center of the low. But again, if it does shift slightly east or west, I should say, then it does bring it more into the coastal impacts. So we have plenty of rain to be had, gloomy conditions through the rest of this week. And so we have rain developing through tomorrow from the mid-Atlantic, spreading up into the New England area. It shifts north, reaching parts of the Jersey Shore, including in lifting up into southern New England. Boston, Hartford, you kind of get the brunt of it. And in fact, Cape Cod, you're going to stay very, very wet all the way into Friday as well, as we do still have these chances for showers, lifting a little bit further north and a little bit more inland. So along with that, not only are you having to deal with all that rain, the wind is going to be cranking as well. So visibility will be dropped. We're again seeing the strongest winds way offshore, right near that core of that low. However, we will see this little zone right here. We could see the potential for 40, 45 mile per hour winds, if not 50 mile per hour winds. Check out Boston right there. This clocks in around Thursday evening, 10 p.m. Eastern time. But even down towards Atlantic City, seeing some breezy conditions. Soil super saturated still across this area. So I wouldn't be surprised for some power outages as we get through this rest of this week. And anyone who's planning on getting out over the waters, you might think twice about that, and if you really need to. However, we are expecting some fairly high waves associated with that low, Chris. I mean, that right there, it corresponds to almost 15 to 25 foot waves. So very, very churned up, choppy.
All of it.
All of it. There you go. That's
Bottom line, there's a lot going on over the water. I think we can agree on for sure. And the couple areas that we were just talking about in the tropics that eventually are going to come up and make this storm here. And this coastal storm, according to the European model, again, there's a couple areas right here.